Hi, this is Chad Riedlinger.
And I'm Howard Vernick.
And welcome to another episode of the RE Solution. Thanks for joining us this week. Now listen, this week's topic might not sound sexy at the outset, but follow along with us for a minute because it's very vital to your business.
So today we're talking about why we qualify borrowers to a payment instead of a purchase price. I'm sure many of you have received a pre-qualification letter or pre-approval letter from a lender, and it said that the borrower can be approved to $250,000, $300,000, or whatever it is. But not all homes are the same, and every house is going to have different taxes and insurances and different payments. And that's why we use the payment instead of the purchase price, so we make sure that each home works for each borrower.
So for real estate agents, right, everything that you do in your world each and every day is based on prices, right? But in our world, everything is based on ratios. And what affects the ratio is the payment on that property. So what do we look for, right? We're going to look for the property taxes, we're going to look for insurances, we're going to look and see if the property is in a flood zone, and we're going to look for the homeowners association dues on each and every property.
So if we just gave you a letter saying the purchase price without looking into those other things, we could be giving you pre-approval letters for properties that a borrower can never purchase. We don't want to put any borrower in jeopardy of losing their deposit, or more importantly, wasting your time and energy putting the contract together.
So look, we know that when you're out showing properties with your buyers, they're all looking for properties up to a certain price, right? And we know they all push the envelope on those prices. So let's say you have a buyer out there looking for a price up to $250,000, and you're showing them 4 properties today. Every one of those properties is going to have a different payment associated to it. So I can promise you that one of those properties that's out there, they're not going to be able to qualify because either the taxes are real high or the HOA dues are high, and it's going to throw their debt-to-income ratio out of whack. So once we pre-approve them to a payment, we're actually going to give you access to an online portal where you'll get an email notification and your buyer will get an email notification where you can log in. You can plug in 3 simple pieces of information for the property that the buyer is looking to put an offer on. They're going to plug in the purchase price, the property taxes, and the HOA dues. We're going to pre-fill the insurance for them because we have a pretty good indication based on our experience what the insurance is going to be based on the properties that the buyer is looking for.
And the best thing about our application is that when you find the property and the numbers work, you'll be able to print a pre-approval letter right there on the spot and submit it with your offer. No waiting around, no waiting for anybody to get on or off on their computer. Monday through Sunday, 24/7, you'll have access to a pre-approval letter.
And let me tell you the other thing that realtors love about our app. So listen, have you ever had a buyer who had a pre-approval letter that was given to them by a lender and they went out and cheated on you? Right? So they went out and they found an open house without you, or they went out there and put an offer on a Zillow property without you knowing. Look, we've all been cheated on, and we want to do the best we can to help minimize the chances of them cheating on you. How do we do that? By using our app, because they have to come to you to get their pre-approval letter. We don't just submit it to the buyer and say, here, good luck. We want to put that control in your hands so that you can control which letters the buyer gets access to.
You get notified every time the borrower even puts numbers in the application, so you know that they're looking at homes or considering homes out there. Hopefully they're doing it with you, but if not, you know that they're out there with somebody else.
Here's the other really cool part. We know that you're the one that prints the pre-approval letter for them, and if they come to us for a pre-approval letter, what's the first question we're going to ask them? We'll say, why aren't you getting the letter from your realtor? And if if they happen to be working with a different realtor or they found a property on their own, we can't not give them the pre-approval letter, but who's our first phone call going to be to after that letter gets sent out?
Of course. It's right to you. You can get on the phone with them and figure out why they're cheating on you.
So look, we can't always prevent buyers from cheating on the realtors. We can't even get them to stop cheating on us, but we want to mitigate that and do our best job to make sure that you, our real estate partner, are protected. So thanks so much for joining us this week, and we look forward to seeing you again next week right here at the RE Solution.